Well, things got even more dramatic because moments later in the locker room, Justin Fields realized that didn't sound great. Clarifying comments. I'm not blaming anyone on the coach, anything on the coaches. I'm never going to blame anything on the coaches. Never going to blame anything on my teammates. I will take everything. Whatever happens in a game, I will take the blame. I don't care if it's a drop pass. It should have been a pass. Put it on me. Shady, this is crazy. Joy, this is wild. James Jones, though, what is your instant reaction?
Well, my instant reaction is that should have been the take from the very first get-go. When you stood up there in front of all the media on the podium, that's what you should have said. Everybody knows me and Shady don't argue, but we debate a lot. And I usually ride with Justin Fields, and he gets me like, bro, what you doing? You know, so I'm one of the biggest Justin Fields fans out there. But at the same time, we watching the tape with our own two eyes, and we see what's going on. So there's no need for you to get up there trying to blame this on the coaches and, you know, say you think they got you thinking too much and all. Just go up there, like you just said right now, put the blame on me, go up there, accept it, and go out there and get better. So for me, I wish he would have watched all that stuff previous and started with this.
I can't help but feel bad for Justin Fields. I gotta be honest. I gotta be authentic. I gotta keep it real, Shady. I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I do. I feel bad for Justin Fields. I don't know what it is. I see a young player who's obviously extremely frustrated. He's hearing what we're all saying about him. He's seeing the losses. He's feeling the losses. He's hearing the reaction in Chicago. He knows the expectations that he had coming into the season, and it's gotta be tough. And he's not used to losing. He was 20-2 at Ohio State. He's not used to losing. That's a big transition to make, to go from being at the top of a sport to the next level and being at the bottom. So they didn't set him up for success early. They're trying to lean into it now, and I think he's just frustrated, and he had a young person moment.
You feel bad for him?
I do, Shady. I gotta keep it real.
Wow.
I do.
Okay, well, cool. Hearing him talk and reading things he said, accountability. You gotta stand for something and take the blame. You haven't played well. You're 5-22 as a starter. You could blame the coaches, you could blame this guy, the trainers, guys drop passes. It's you. This is his third year, I haven't seen no development. He looks the same. We add more pieces. We give you some linemen, we give you a #1 receiver in DJ Moore, who's a hell of a player. You got that. And it's the same results. So when I look at this, and I think of, man, this kid came from Ohio State, like you say, he's 21-2. 22. I've never seen a bad quarterback in college at Ohio State. I've never seen it. We need to start updating our data. You just told me that.
Yeah.
And don't go get no more quarterbacks from Ohio State. I don't care what they putting out there number-wise. I hope CJ Stroud balls out. I met the kid. I like him a lot. He has a lot of potential, right? But just going for the facts and the stats. Quarterbacks from Ohio State, they can't play in the NFL. They do great in college. They get to the league, and I don't see it. Don't transcend. So I'll say this. Instead of making excuses and everybody feeling bad for you, go out there and take the blame, right, and do better. It started to remind me of Ben Simmons. In Philadelphia, I watched that so closely where he was a really good player. He didn't have this issue. He's a good player. He couldn't shoot, never could shoot, but he was a good player. Found a way to get things done. And now, once he started playing bad and everybody was talking about it, when the media, players, talk shows, he couldn't take it. And he started blaming people. Well, I didn't shoot the ball, but I did play good defense. You didn't play well. And if you don't fix this, if he doesn't fix this, this will be an issue over and over again, and they will get a new quarterback.
Shady, I want to supplement your point because you mentioned this a while ago, and I wanted to extrapolate the data on it. Ohio State quarterbacks, if you look at them when they get to the NFL, like if you look at the last 10, 15 years, their collective record is an 18-47.
Are you serious?
18-47 if you look at Ohio State quarterbacks' collective record. If you look at the touchdown interception ratio of Ohio State quarterbacks, it is 60-62. 60-62 and 18-47. So, Shady, you hit the nail on the head in regards to the Ohio State quarterbacks' inability to translate to the pros. Bringing us back on camera, though, what I think about Justin Fields' comments, I appreciate the explanation. In large part, I'm with Joy. In large part, like, I do feel bad for him. But I appreciate the explanation, James, because, America, let's just put some things in context. Justin Fields is saying his coaches are giving him too much information. If you wear the green dot on the back of your helmet, that means that you have the mic. That means that your coach is on the sideline. They can say, hey, James Jones, I need you to run this, need you to run that. I wore the green dot on my helmet, middle linebacker. Your coach can give you an excessive amount of information. A coach, for example, can say, hey, Acho, we want you to run ogre pack trio. If the offense comes out in a YY front, make sure you boost the front. If they're in slot backside, make sure you widen out because we'll throw a backside slant. But it's 3rd and 10, so be mindful of the safety. Make sure he spins down. Wait, what? That's a lot of information to digest. If you aren't comfortable, then you're thinking about, okay, wait, if they come out in this, I got to do that. If they come out in this, I got to do that. If they come out in this, I got to do that. But if you just know what's going on, you can just pick the information that you need. I don't think Justin Fields yet has the autonomous knowledge where he just knows what's going on. So the reason I don't mind what he said is I appreciate the explanation. Now, there's a fine line between an explanation and an excuse. There is a very fine line between an explanation and an excuse. But we showed it on tape yesterday. Justin Fields had a wide open Roshan Johnson down the seam, and he pumped it.
Yeah.
Now, why would you pump it if you know it's there? Just take the shot. But he pumped it. To me, that's a coach potentially saying, hey, don't throw that down the seam if they're in cover 2. So he's like, are they in cover 2? When just let it rip. So that's why, James, I don't mind the explanation, if you will.
So basically we saying that Justin Fields ain't never going to play in this league and have success in this league if we talking like that. You've played on a couple teams. I've played on a couple teams. Offenses do not change. Verbiage may change, but offenses do not change. Defenses do not change. They're going to roll to cover 2. They're going to roll to cover 3. They're going to roll to 33 back or whatever. They are not going to change. You're going to see the same stuff. So with that being said, that's basically saying that, hey, okay, Justin Fields is putting too much on him. The Bears need to switch offensive coordinators or dumb it down a little. But that's every offense in the National Football League. I played for the Raiders. I played for the Packers. I had a stint with the it's the same. Eli Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Derek Carr, they calling the same plays. They going over the same reads. 1st, 2nd, 3rd. So for me, if we going to say that, then Justin Fields is not going to have no success in this league if he cannot put all that together and go out there and play at a high level.
My thought, though, Joy, is oftentimes it's about the teacher. Like, I clearly y'all know, Shady, you got kids, so I can't speak to it. But I've heard, though, obviously people say it's a lie, there are no bad kids, just bad parents, right?
Crazy.
I don't know. I can't speak to that. I ain't got none of my own.
Take it to my hood.
I have none of my own. But, Joy, when I think about it, I think Justin Fields is talented.
Yeah,
I think he's talented.
I'm with you.
So when you see him not play up to the standard, that is why I'm like, I don't know if it's Fields has to be better, but I feel you in feeling bad for him as well.
But at the end of the day, he might just not be an NFL quarterback.
I don't want to believe that.
I don't want to either.
I don't want to believe that.
But we have to, I am acknowledging that I don't want to believe that. I'm really not speaking from a place of objectivity right now, America. I'm being honest and transparent about that. I don't know why I get a soft spot for one player a year. It's Justin Fields. Congrats, and don't expect sympathy for anybody else. I'm being honest about it. I think that the Bears do not have success with the quarterback position. I think that because they never have, and the statistics would back me up. I think they drafted 3 defensive tackles this year in the draft. I don't know if they needed to do that. I think that they fired an offensive coach that was having success with a guy that we don't think is that talented in Mitchell Trubisky, and hired a defensive coach when you have a young, developing quarterback. All that being said, to your point, and to Shady's point, you got to go play. Like, everybody doesn't get a soft entrance to the NFL. Everybody doesn't get the best teacher. Everybody doesn't get the best coach. Everybody doesn't get the best situation. You're drafted where you're drafted because you are supposed to go and elevate the situation and make it so that we can see, and there are players like this, where we can see, no, this player is capable of more. They just don't have enough around him. And then let everyone else fight those fights for you. But they kind of did it this year. So this is the year where we should be seeing some growth. And so I just see a young, frustrated player.
I'm disappointed in you, Joy Taylor.
I know, Shady.
Wait, do you give sympathy to Zach Wilson?
I told you I got one. I only got this much.
I mean,
and actually, that's not true. That's not true. We're going to talk about Zach later. I told you Zach gets a pass this week. Next week, he loses to Belichick. He doesn't get a pass.
See, that's the problem, though, right? I think the problem with a lot of the players, like Justin Fields, people, we like him. He shows some talent. He can run around. He makes dudes miss, and fantasy points be going good. But then when we really look at the tape and we watch it and we look at all his excuses, he needs number 1 receiver. He needs more weapons. And so everybody talked about that all year last year.
Sure.
The Bears are fouling them. And then you get these players, it's the same results. And now you're telling me because you're thinking too much? Listen, brother, I don't know, America, a lot of people probably didn't play in the league, right, because it is hard. But every team, like James just said, is like that. It's going to be a lot of verbiage, a lot of different play calls, a lot of that type of stuff. And if you really watch the game, they are dumbing down the offense. He ain't just got the whole playbook out there. Go out there just and just do your thing. No, they are being conservative and trying to help him out.
I got a question though for you though, Shady. It's like, and really for anybody at the desk, it's I'm curious. I'm curious as to why he's playing so bad. That's why I'm very eager to listen to what he has to say.
Can I say this? He's not that good of a quarterback.
But let's take it deeper. That's fine to say.
Okay,
I won't disagree.
You can't.
But let's take it to why.
Okay, go ahead. All right.
Because he has the arm. He has the legs.
He's the number one receiver. He's a number one receiver.
He has all
It's
the
a good
things.
running game.
Sure. So my thought process is why. And to me, what he provided was a very good why. We don't have to agree with it, but it was a good why.
I do think it is a good why, and that's part of the reason why I feel the way that I do for him, because he's trying to find an answer for everyone. He's trying to give an answer. I like that he said it's not on the coaches, and that was really like the follow-up question is where he failed in saying that, like, that first explanation is a reasonable explanation. I've got too much going on in my head. I'm trying to please everybody.
Yep.
I've got voices here. I'm not just going out and playing. And maybe him going out and playing isn't good enough, but at this point, why not try it? But the follow-up question is where he got caught up, saying, okay, it's probably coaching, and then that feels like you're blaming. I also think this year, because of all the pieces that they've added, they're leaning away from him running. And obviously he is a prolific runner, so you would like to see if he can throw the ball, but also take advantage of the skill that we know he has and his ability to run. He's dropped back 66 times and only ran the ball on 4 design run plays. They're trying to force him to throw the ball, maybe to see if he can, but that's not really a strategy for winning either. So it can't be that, all right, we're going to force him to throw the ball, even though we're not sure if he can, and he's not going to run the ball, which we know that he can, but then it's also going to be all his fault that we're losing, but then it's not really his fault because he's saying that the coaching is confusing. There's just a lot going on here. I'm not saying that he doesn't have to go out and perform, because he does, and that's what he gets paid to do, and that's what he was drafted to do, and that's the standard that everyone else is held to. I'm just saying we're talking about it, so maybe there's some explanations.
Quarterbacks make the most money because they got to know the most.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
that's true.
Period.
That's true. No more, no less.
They got to know the most.
Yes,
they
sir.
got to get everybody in the right situation. I done broke the huddle plenty times, and Aaron looking at me, and I'm like,
Yep.
I don't know what I'm doing. And he
You're
like,
right, though.
And he like, give me a signal like this is it. After he gives me that signal, he got to go back to the defense and say, 54 to Mike. Watch, you got to do it.
It might be somebody else that need to know what's going on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then you got to read the coverage when the play happens. So for me, my question to you, Acho, is how can we help him? Like, we cannot, as an offensive coordinator, say, one read, run. You're not going to have no success like that against any defenses. So how are we going to help you, Acho?
Let's take it away from football for a second. Let's take it away from football because I want all the viewers to have just as much knowledge as everybody at the desk. I'll put it like this. When you are learning how to drive or you're teaching somebody how to drive and you're on the highway for the first time, I remember I was on the highway for the first time. My pops might say, okay, make sure you use a turn signal. Okay, cool. Okay, make sure you stay 2 seconds behind the car in front of you. Okay, cool. Okay, if you're going to exit, you got to get into the right lane. Okay, cool. Now, until you're a natural driver, you're thinking to yourself, turn signal. Okay, 2 good seconds. Like, you're doing all of these things based on somebody in your ear coaching you what to do. But we've all drove to work. And when we're all driving to work, we don't have to think about those things because they're automatic now. Right. So now when Shady's changing lanes in the Phantom and the Rolls and the Bentley, whatever he's changing lanes in, it's just boom. He didn't think about, like, Shady didn't have to think, turn signal. Shady didn't have to think, 2 seconds behind. Again, I say this to say, like, I've been there 2-5 when a coach is like, hey, Acho, it's third down. Make sure you watch screen. Hey, but Acho, they might run a draw. Hey, Acho, if Shady's hot to the flat, you got to get him. Hey, Acho, if James runs a dig, make sure you're 12 yards deep, 2 yards outside hat. Coach, shut up.
So
just let me play.
Was it like that in college or no?
No.
So there's one thing and that's it.
Yeah, in college, they don't tell you as much.
Okay, and then my second thing is, so if for every player that doesn't play well, they can just go to this. Think about it, though. So, man, coach is so much, I can't even think. Because coach didn't tell you to throw a pick on a screen. On a screen?
You didn't.
Yeah.
And it's like as much as I don't want to talk bad about Justin Fields, when I turn on the tape, I got to be honest. Coach ain't telling you to throw picks. Coach ain't telling you to hold the ball. That's you.
Yeah.
He's also not a rookie.
Drew is third year.
For rookies, we're not even talking about what's going on with Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud or Anthony Richardson because we know they're going to be going through what Justin Fields is going through, just being out there in sheer panic at the speed and the amount of information that they have to process that's been taken to a step up in the NFL. But Justin Fields is also not a rookie.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Give me some no fingerprints. That's a really good point because year one, You driving the car, right? You ain't on the highway yet.
Yeah.
Year
Yeah.
2, you on the highway. All right,
Yeah.
turn signals, you got all that stuff down.
Yeah.
Right? We moving now.
Yeah.
Like, you should know this stuff, right? I promise you, right? I played with Coach Luke when I was in Green Bay for Coach Luke. He ain't saying Justin Fields, he wide open, don't take that. Like he ain't saying that. So like what we thinking about? Like, bruh, it's read 1, read 2, read 3. You know what it's like that at? It's like that with the Raiders. It's like that with the Packers. It's like that with the Colts. It's like that with it's like that everywhere.
Have y'all ever, let me ask you though.
If you can't play, you can't play.
Let me ask you though. Have you ever been in a position where you've been like, hey, coach, shut up, I got it? Have you ever been in that position? Hey, coach, shut up, I got it.
I've never said it, but
Yes.
I in my head I said that. Yeah, I got you, coach. Man, he chirping.
But just stop talking.
Yeah.
I got it. Joy, I know you've been in that position because we got to wear the IFB. When you're hosting a show, producer might say, hey, come in, you got this read. Go to break, you got to toss this. Shut up, I got it.
Yeah.
That's where I think Justin
Our
Fields is.
producers are telling us to go to break.
Really quick though. As a young receiver, when I came into the National Football League, in college, if you got a curl route, you run a curl route. It ain't nothing changing. In the pros, this curl route can convert to a corner. This curl route can convert to an in route. This curl route to convert to a bunch of stuff, right? So as a rookie, I'm like, Lord have mercy. I'm messing up on a lot of that stuff, right? Sometimes I'm getting it right. Year 2,
right?
I'm like, I got all this stuff.
Yup.
Whatever it is. So for me, like Joy said, you're not a rookie.
Yeah.
You've been in this thing for a minute now. And like Shady said, we're not seeing no development. I rides for Justin Fields. That's why I'm up here talking so much, because I want to see him go out there and ball. Man, I rides for him. I'm like, come on. But you can't do this, man. You can't go over and say that.
You signed that?
I don't know.
You signed that. I'm saying that.
He ain't signed that one.
But look, real quick, before you go, I'm blaming you two.
What happened?
Because y'all, man, the reason why he playing so bad, he getting the pass, because you feel bad for him, and it's the coach's fault. For real.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.